guys doing? So today we are talking about minor 2-5-1 lines, and I will tell you the secret right off the bat. I'm going to show you how to take a minor 2-5 line and transform it into a major 2-5-1 line so it's easier to think about. We'll get into that in 1 second. A couple notes real quick. This last weekend was Ground Up Music Fest, as you can tell from my hat. So shout out to Mike League for having us there. As well, I have a ton of content from that festival to share with you guys, master classes and performances from some awesome artists. So stay tuned for that. You might see that in the coming week or so. Also, as a congratulations and thank you to you guys for helping us hit 10K and beyond, probably at 15K right now. This PDF for this lesson, which would normally be $5, is free. So just make sure you download that below. And it also lets you see what kind of PDF you get for $5. So if you want to check out any of the previous ones, you can do that as well. Let's get right into it. So a couple videos back, I was talking about the most important 2-5-1 line, and what we're going to do is we're going to take that line, that collection of lines, and use that for a minor 2-5-1 line. So if you haven't seen that video, you're going to want to click above and just check that out first. So as an example, we took this line on D minor, G7 to C major. So using that line, what we can do is take the exact same line and use it for a minor 2-5. In this case, B half diminished, E7 to A minor. Let me play that real quick and then I'll tell you why it works. So what you can do is take any minor 2-5 progression, in this case B half diminished, E7 to A minor, and go up a minor third. So B up a minor third is D, and we play a 2-5-1 off of that, 2-5-1 to major. So instead of B half diminished, E7 and A minor, we're going to play D minor, G7 and C major. And the reason this works is that instead of resolving to A minor, we're resolving to its relative key, which is C major. So I'm basically just saying, instead of resolving to a minor, we resolve to the equivalent of it as a major chord, C major. This is really helpful because minor 2-5s can be tricky to think of, but in general we have a lot of 2-5-1 lines we can use. So you can actually use essentially any major 2-5-1 line and translate it into a minor 2-5-1 line. I'll give you a bunch of examples. One more for this just to demonstrate the topic, and I'll get into the specifics of why that works note for note. Another one we have is on the macro level. I'm telling you that this works because we have relative keys, and that as long as the keys are relative, it doesn't really matter if it's a minor 2-5 to the minor key or a major 2-5 to its relative major. If we look on a note for note basis, we see that it still works, and the reason is all of our resolutions, our tension and resolution, still give us chord tones on downbeats. So let's take this in the case of B half diminished. We start on the flat 5, and then we have a half step resolution, that's C to B, that leads us into a chord tone for E7. So that B is a chord tone for E7, the 5th. So we still get our resolution moving down by half step, even though it's not a 7th to 3rd motion. And then we continue from there. Now these notes, B is the 5th of E7, D is the flat 7 of E7, flat 9 for F, and then our A flat, we now think of it as G sharp, and that's our 3rd of E7. Any of our resolution points for C major are also chord tones for A minor. In this case, we were resolving to G, which is the minor 7th of A minor. In other cases, we'll resolve to E, which is going to be the 5th of A minor. So this all works because the line we set up in the first place resolves to chord tones properly. So if you have good lines that you're creating, then the resolution will work for 2-5 to major or 2-5 to minor. In the PDF, I have different lines from the other most important 2-5-1 line, and we'll go through some of those now. I'm not going to do the full explanation. If you want to see that, just go to the previous video, just so it's not a repeat of the last one, but I'll get into a couple more things with it that you'll want to stick around for. If we're looking at this minor 2-5-1, instead of starting with this descending pattern of F, E, D, C, this time we're going to start with an ascending arpeggio. It's another basic way of doing a 2-5-1 line, but this time it gives you something a little different. So starting off with B half diminished, we're going to do an ascending arpeggio from B. So B, D, F, A, going in the G sharp. That's our first variation of the line. Again, our second variation would be then to add an enclosure. Right? After that, we can use octave displacement. So instead of going to low F, we go to high F. And then we can do octave displacement with our enclosure. Okay, that's for the first set of 4. The next set of 4, we can use another arpeggio. So we do our same beginning. The beginning 4 notes always stay the same. Now we're going to go up the arpeggio here. G sharp, B, D, F, E. We can do our enclosure again. And then we can do our octave displacement for this second version. Going down to the low B instead of up to the higher B. Resolving to E, or with the enclosure. Okay, so those are the lines you'll see in the PDF you can download below. All 5 positions as I normally do it, you'll see that. Another thing is if you've gotten my Master 2-5-1 Lines ebook, which you can get the preview as well below without having to pay for that, or check out the video associated with that. I'm going to go through those lines real quick, just playing them over the minor 2-5 so you can see how those work. So if you want to play a B half diminished E7 to A minor 2-5, like you might see in the song Black Orpheus, all of those 2-5-1 lines from the key of C will work for that. So let me just demonstrate that. So as you can see, you can already use the 2-5-1 lines that you have from the Master 2-5-1 Lines ebook over a minor 2-5. So hopefully that's helpful, and this little conceptual switch is really, really useful anytime you come across those minor 2-5s and don't know what to do. If you guys have any questions, make sure you leave it in the comment below, and be sure to subscribe. I'm giving out a lot of great content, a lot of free content as well, and about 91% of you aren't subscribed. So make sure you subscribe, and I will be giving out more free content like this as long as you guys are enjoying the content and hitting you with those free PDFs as well. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.